Dredd is one of the most underrated sci-fi movies probably ever made. Karl Urban was brilliant in it. But could he be returning in the long-awaited TV series? Welcome to Tachyon Pulse Podcast.
Our Tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
This has been rumoured for years. And there was going to be a Dredd Megacity 1, and actually Karl Urban was in talks to appear. And now that was back in 2021, they were trying to get it out there, but just like lots of projects, to be honest, during the strikes, etc., they just went away. And nobody was willing to pick it up. But now I'm hearing rumours that Amazon are. And Karl Urban is very, very interested. So, a few years ago, Lena Headey was played Mama in the Dredd movie starring Karl Urban. And Karl Urban is a massive Judge Dredd fan. He insisted, for example, that Judge Dredd must keep the helmet on. Unlike Sylvester Stallone, who allowed the helmet to come off all the way through the film. And basically, even though at the time he said this is going to be great, he after reported when he saw, when he basically said as soon as he saw the costume for the first time with the massive gold things, he went, oh, this film's going to be bad. And it was. But Karl Urban wanted to do a project that stayed far closer to the original comic books, and they succeeded. Dredd has gone on to become a cult classic. I watched it on Netflix recently for the third or fourth time. If you haven't watched it in a while, please go back and watch it. It's gritty, it's dark, it's brilliantly put together, and to be honest, even though they had a lot of problems with the script and stuff and trying to get a storyline that made sense that they could afford to do, what they came up with was brilliant. And it's a movie I just adore, to be honest. Now, immediately after that movie, or a couple of years after, there was these rumours about Karl Urban returning and to do the Megacity 1 Judge Dredd TV series. As I said, that never got off the ground. But now Amazon are looking at it because The Boys is coming to an end. Season 5 will be the last one. And Karl Urban, his name has gone through the roof over Amazon. They like him very much. They really do put down his character in The Boys as one of the main reasons why that show succeeded. And I'm hearing that conversations have already started about reigniting some sort of Judge Dredd project starring Karl Urban. That again, it will be a very true to the comic books, but it will go a lot further than they were able to with the Dredd movie, limited by budget, basically. Now, in the movie originally, they did try to bring in things like the Dredd Death character and the there's like an apocalypse version of the Dredd judges, but it was decided at the time that that was just going to require way too much exposition. That look, unless you were a hardcore comic fan, you weren't going to know who these characters were, and anyway, they couldn't afford to do it very well. Bringing back something like that, though, in a TV series over 10 episodes, over 2 or 3 seasons, they would have plenty of time to explore those and to really get stuck in to the Judge Dredd character. Could this happen? I think this is the sort of project that, one, Amazon would love to do. It's a brilliant follow-on from The Boys. I'm hearing, actually, that the production team around The Boys are the ones that will potentially be doing it. And look, if you look at The Boys and the way that show's put together and the way that show's made, you then try to move sort of the attitude and, some of the special effects, etc., the way the creators approach the show, and you transpose that onto Dredd, I could see that working. I could see, because a Judge Dredd series has to be violent. It has to be aggressive, and that is The Boys. But also, you want to inject some humour into it. That is also The Boys. Karl Urban would be given virtually free rein to do what he wants with this, under the disguise of the production team with The Boys. I'm hearing is that this has gone as far as conversations and potentially looking at even getting a writer to put together a script. I don't think it's gone any further than that. We are talking very, very early days here. But I could just see this working on a streaming platform where you don't really have any rules. You can do what you want. And creators that are brave enough to do what they did with The Boys, I really think Judge Dredd has got an opportunity to actually be what it deserved to be. It's a character that, if done right, really fits with what Amazon sort of want to produce. Something that is maybe a little bit shocking, but also is a commentary on the world we live in today. And regardless of what your politics are, the whole left wing versus right wing, particularly in America, is very focused. And it's very divided. And I just think a TV series like this really could explore those things and the problems that we have in our society at the moment in a way that isn't pushed down your throat. It is still entertaining and violent. And I don't think a show like that should pick sides either. I think it can explore both of those alternatives, because obviously Judge Dredd is a post-apocalyptic, war-torn almost megacity with, incredible problems and judges that have to, I am the law. I'm trying to do my lift like slow, but I can't do it. And summary executions, etc. And because of the problems being faced. I look at sort of like the extraditions things going on in America at the moment, and the argument that, all of these immigrants have come in and that is causing so many problems in the United States. And again, whether you agree with that or not, I think Judge Dredd is the sort of project that can explore those themes in really interesting ways that will then allow us to make our own decision and maybe allow us to see things from a slightly extreme perspective in a really interesting way. I'm mentioning that because I think it underlines again why they're looking at Dredd, because it's not just a TV show that would be entertaining and would be fun to do and that Karl Urban would desperately want to do, but it's also a TV show that can actually have some meat on it, as it were, because they can explore themes that are so important in our world at the moment, and that, I can imagine, for creators would be tempting. So let's see what happens. I don't think this is the sort of thing that'll be announced until after Boys Season 5 airs and premieres and ends, basically. But from what I'm being told, they're moving in that direction. But guys, get into the comments to what you think. Is Judge Dredd something you would love to see done, if done right? And Karl Urban being given a chance to bring back his character of Dredd that he did very, very well in the movie. Also, my idea about exploring certain themes within the world today. Again, whether you're left or right wing or woke or against woke or whatever, do you know where I'm coming from with that? That it could be, if done well, a really good way of exploring those themes. Get into the comments and tell me what you think and how you would do it if given this opportunity. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel, and that way you get to see most of our videos up to 24 hours before everybody else. That can't be bad. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.